Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for May 2022. First, we're going to look at the numerology and energy for the collective, which we are all a part of. And then we're going to break it down into the individual life path forecast. So before I get started, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So in the Northern Hemisphere, May brings flowers, springtime, and 11-2 energy this year. So when we have master level energy in a cycle, we may notice the challenges or obstacles to be a bit more pronounced, but the same can be said of the rewards of this cycle. So think of it like taking an accelerated master's level course. We'll have to put in the effort, but the satisfaction will be worth it. Similar to a 2 cycle, you may notice your experience sort of hasten, and this can help to push us to be much more decisive within our actions and our personal circumstances. Sudden events can occur now that require us to quickly go within, follow our instincts or our intuition, and take the reins within our own experience when we're deciding next steps. So, in doing so, we alleviate the tendency for being influenced by others during this time because there's a sense of urgency present that doesn't support calling multiple friends, weighing the options, reviewing pros and cons. No, you already know what to do. And this energy is assisting you in trusting yourself and the cues of your body and your own inner knowing. So don't miss an opportunity because you don't trust yourself enough to make a decision. This energy can feel almost hectic and exciting, and it can create a tendency for impulsivity. So this is fine if, of course, if it feels right to you and if you're following your own intuition. However, be aware of feeling like you have the need to sort of make a knee-jerk commitment at this time, simply to, rush through the process to get to the conclusion. If it feels aligned, great. But if it feels sort of cloudy and you're not quite sure, and you're still making haste simply to get to the end goal, then you may wish at a later time that you had taken more time. So be patient, be tolerant, and be decisive. All of that will yield positive results during an 11-2 cycle. Legal dealings can come up now to be worked through as well. So financial settlements are possible, such as inheritance or lawsuits of some sort being finalized. Contractual agreements, partnerships can also come to the forefront. And this, of course, includes marriage, divorce, adoption, buying or selling a home, property, or material goods. This 11-2 energy is also beautiful energy for investing time and resources into learning something new or furthering your education in some way. So signing up for a course, going back to school, attending a workshop of some sort or a retreat, as well as traveling to new places and fully immersing yourself within a different culture. All of this is supported under this beautiful 11-2 energy. Throughout May, we could find that we are more sensitive, and this can be a phenomenal time for enhancing our intuitive and psychic abilities. So this can be a very creative, inspirational period. So pay attention to any insights, dreams, and ideas that come flooding in at this time. So chances are, even if you don't take action on these new ideas, these inspirations, you'll see them resurface in some way again, if they're meant to, right? So at this stage, simply write them down and feel into how you want to work with them. Some you may release, and others you may feel compelled to create something much more tangible. This can be a very exciting cycle for this sort of process. So as mentioned, with any master energy comes master level tests and challenges to figure out and to overcome in order to extract the wisdom needed to move forward. So you may see exciting, big, new ideas emerge at this time, but those big new ideas may be coupled with just as big of challenges to overcome in order to achieve whatever this new goal is. So remember, challenges don't always indicate that something isn't meant for us. Sometimes those challenges are actually allies in assisting us to master whatever it is that we're attempting to achieve. So very infrequently is it true that mastering comes easily. It takes effort, persistence, skill, time, trial and error, all of these things, right? So this is going to be a period to keep moving forward despite the challenges to achieve whatever it is that you're working towards. That is, if it still calls to you. So if there is still fire behind you with whatever this is, then go for it. Keep going. You can overcome whatever challenges surface, and ultimately you're meant to extract the wisdom from those challenges. They're not meant to deter you necessarily or throw you off course. Now, of course, if you're still pursuing an old dream that's no longer your dream, but somebody else's, and your intent and motivation is sort of all about ego over true inspiration and desire, then you may continue to feel sort of out of alignment with this goal, and the challenges will become so great that you're only left feeling defeated versus inspired. So there is a difference. This 11-2 energy will assist us in recognizing sort of where we land with that. And, as we move through this journey, whether the goal is still truly ours or whether it's time to be released for a new one to enter. Big energy for May. And again, it's always what we choose to do with this energy that ultimately makes the difference. So when we're working with master level energy, we can anticipate that there will be master level challenges, but again, it's just assisting us in mastering the energy. So let's move on to the individual life path numbers. Life path 11-2. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got Parrot spirit. And what I love about this is on the picture on the card, it actually looks like a phoenix and a phoenix rising. So it's quite beautiful, actually. But you got Parrot spirit for May, and Parrot's message is watch your words. And there's a couple things that come in here for this. The first one is, I think of a parrot like sort of mimicking the words of another person type thing. Their caretaker, whatever, they'll just pick up phrases or meanings and they'll just like sort of regurgitate that and mimic that. And what's interesting about this is because, again, we are in an 11-2 cycle this month for May. So this is your energy. Now you'll either feel this very strongly or you just won't really feel it very much at all because it's the energy that you're pretty much dealing with day in and day out. So it could come in, either way. But what's interesting is there's this very strong energy around being very decisive this month, especially, and not being easily influenced by others. So not sort of just mimicking other people's behaviors or doing what other people think that you should be doing, but really trusting yourself in your decision-making process and in the direction of where you want to take your life, right? Especially this month. So with Parrot coming in, I just think there's this strong message here around being very mindful of not just mimicking other people's behaviors or saying what other people want you to say, but showing up very authentically. And I think sometimes with twos, especially early on in their journey, as they're learning to really find their footing and find their voice and feel really confident with that, and become very decisive in all of that. I think there is this tendency, because you are the mediators, you are the peacekeepers, you are the ones who are seen and not required, but sort of encouraged with this energy to bring the balance. And so it can sometimes put you in a position where you become almost like a people pleaser and try to say and do what will make most people feel the most comfortable, so that you're bringing the peace, so to speak, even if it's not authentic peace, if that makes sense. And so I do think that there's this tendency, again, as you sort of move through, the challenges of life and all of that, and figuring out who you are and all of that, and finding your voice and using it. I do think there's sometimes a tendency to show up in a way that's going to create the least amount of conflict, or at least contribute in the way that's going to create the least amount of conflict and separation and all of that, which is beautiful. But there's a way of doing that where you're not sacrificing yourself and not sacrificing your own truth and authenticity. So that's coming in really, really strongly with Parrot energy, as well as this energy of watching your words. And so what I really am getting from that is, again, just be very mindful of how you're presenting yourself, how you are. I almost get like this sort of like Libra energy with this, which, Libra energy is that of the diplomat. So Librans are, when they're in their higher octave, they are able to share their ideas, share their truth, share, whatever, in a way that lands on their audience in a very inviting way. So in other words, they're able to communicate in a way that does not get other people's defenses up, even if they're saying something that others disagree with. So there's really this energy, 11-2s, especially for you all, to really be mindful of your presentation of, again, whether it's you standing up for something that you believe in, whether it's you, being a leader and teaching other people something or whatever, just to be very mindful of how, of your words, and like, how you're contributing to the dynamic, whatever that is. Are your words creating separation, or are they, getting the point across without creating divisiveness? Do you see what I'm saying? So there is definitely something to this, especially with the energy of the 2, which is your core energy, of course, in bringing people together while not sacrificing who you are. That's a really big component that I think is going to be coming in pretty strongly this month, especially for 11-2s, to really take a look at, again, how you're showing up to a situation, how you're presenting the information to whoever it is, and is it a way that's staying true to you while not contributing towards divisiveness, which is not easy to do, right? And that's why I brought up like Libra energy, because again, in its higher octave, Libras are almost like innately just able to do that, where people just are drawn to them and are sort of brought together because of the way that they express themselves through their words, or the written word, the spoken word, whatever. And again, it can be something that normally, if another person said it, that person would be, vehemently against or whatever. And so, but Libras and 11-2s and 2s just sort of have a way of, if they want to, expressing themselves so that they're getting their point across, but not doing it in a way that gets other people's defenses up. Anyway, I spent a lot of time on that, but I think that's really, really important. And I do think that that's something that 11-2s really not just struggle with, but it's something that you really learn throughout your journey is, again, how can I help to bring the peace, bring balance, bring people together, while not losing myself in that process, and not sacrificing who I am to appease others, and to not rock the boat, because there's definitely it's sort of a talent, I guess, to be able to, again, communicate your truth with, in a way where you're being heard and other people still feel comfortable and sort of open to receive the information, and then also communicate their own truth, or whatever the case may be. But I do think that that's a process for 11-2s, especially. And I feel like there's even more of like this, not burden, but it's sort of like this pressure, I guess, on 11-2s and 2s to figure out how to do that. And that's just sort of like trial and error, and the learning, the sort of growing pains of the journey to figure out how to do that in a way that again, you can speak your truth without creating divisiveness and still get your message across. Because ultimately 11 twos and twos have this, like, again, just almost like this gift of really being change agents within the world. And again, bringing information, bringing situations to the forefront, bringing injustices, into the spotlight, and being able to talk about those in ways that are actually productive, in ways that actually have some kind of solution in mind, or again, can bring the issue to the spotlight and not create divisiveness. So if you're an 11-2 and you're very passionate about some cause or whatever, that's beautiful. But how are you presenting the information? How are you presenting your beliefs around whatever this is? Is it in a way that is creating divide? Or is it in a way that you are expressing those beliefs, those facts, whatever? You're able to do that in a way where you're not getting the other party's defenses up, so that they're actually hearing you. Because when somebody's defenses go up, game over. You're not getting through at that point, right? So I think that there's something really strong here that may come through in May for you all, where you're going to get like either a dose of this to like really see maybe where you're coming at it from a way that's actually creating divide, or where you can continue to nurture a way that you're sort of innately equipped to be able to, really be a great speaker or a great writer, and again, bring people together through that medium. Anyway, so just wanted to spend some time on that because I do think that's really important, not only for May, but just throughout the 11-2's journey and also the 2's journey. So anyway, something important coming through there. And I do love that the parrot in this picture looks like a phoenix rising. So again, this piece of the 11-2 energy and being able to inspire people through your words, through your actions, through just being who you are and following your own inspirations, really is a process of a phoenix, going to the ashes and then rising from the ashes. And that really is such a good, sort of mascot for 11s, because it's just, and master numbers in general, there's definitely a process of that throughout your journey of the phoenix rising. Okay, so moving on. All right, so looking at the month ahead for you all, beginning of May, we have this energy around you really clinging to something, you really being overly attached to something. And the energy here is just asking you to loosen your grip. There's something here that you're just really either terrified of losing, of releasing, of the unknown, of something like that, and you're clinging to the known, even though it's not working, or even though it's causing something a more detrimental experience for you. There's just something here about some kind of fear that's causing you to really tighten your grip around something, and that can be relationships, career. Like maybe you're in a job that you absolutely hate, but you're so afraid of the unknown that you're clinging to it, and you're not even entertaining any other options because of this fear. Same thing with relationships. Maybe you're in a relationship that's just not really, you're not, it's sort of run its course ages ago, but you're afraid to let go of it because of fear of the unknown. There's definitely something coming in around this energy, and really the message is like how much life you're missing out on, like how much enjoyment, how much the opportunities to really flourish as opposed to just surviving. There's definitely this energy around the difference between like survival and actually thriving. And again, this is a general reading, so this isn't going to be for everyone, but for those of you that this is relevant, there's something here where you're not allowing yourself to live to your fullest potential because of this fear, whatever this is. It can be around money, again, relationships, career, whatever. And this is very, I would say it's somewhat typical for 11s as well, because of that pressure that there's something bigger that you need to step into. And there's this bigger energy that like most master numbers feel throughout their whole life, that they're not living up to their potential type thing. And, that's not necessarily the case, because every day we're showing up to our greatest potential of that day that's moving us towards our destiny, right? And sort of stepping into these energies. So I think it's kind of nuanced at the beginning of the month, again, where it's like, don't beat yourself up for it, wherever you're at in the process. But also if there's some kind of fear of something that's really holding you back here, and you're clinging to something that's no longer healthy for you or not working, you need to take a closer look at that and see how can you start to sort of loosen the grip a little bit, right? And I just get this image of like clinging to something when you got like the white knuckles, you're clinging so strongly to it. And a lot of times that's usually what the universe ends up taking away from us, are the things that we're clinging to so strongly that we're missing out on life. We're missing out on this experience. And so it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, if we don't figure out how to loosen the grip, the universe will find a way to do it for us. And so it's one of those things also where it's like, you have the invitation now to loosen the grip. And if what is meant for you, whatever that is that you're clinging to, if it's truly meant for you and meant to stay, then, not to sound cliche, but it will stay. It's not going to leave, whatever that is. But if it's not meant for you and it's run its course and you're just clinging to it out of fear, then as soon as you loosen your grip, you're going to see it fall away. But that's okay. That's a good thing. That's the universe working with us, right? So there's definitely something coming in really, really strongly at the beginning of the month around that. Okay, and then moving mid-month, something beautiful coming in here around inspiration, new ideas that are work-related. So this could be a new project, this could be new clients coming in, this could be you starting something, again, that really speaks to you, that calls to your passion, and you just there's a lot of excitement around this. And again, this is like feels very, very divinely guided, some kind of big inspiration coming through. That you really just need to be careful not to let the fear interfere with. So again, it's like, if this big idea comes in, be mindful of the self-doubt, be mindful of talking yourself out of this big opportunity or this big inspiration or big idea because you don't feel worthy or you don't feel like it's something that you can accomplish or whatever. Because again, especially with 11 energy, the opportunities that come in for you are going to be big, are going to be you're not going to feel ready for these opportunities when they come in for you, because again, it's like we never feel fully prepared, right? But especially for 11 energy, it's kind of like, and master level energy, you all came here with this sort of larger than life purpose. And so I know that's a lot of pressure, but you did, and you're very capable of accomplishing it in this lifetime if you choose to. So I do feel like there's like this potential for something, like some kind of idea coming in for you. And my advice would just be, don't negate it as soon as it comes in because you don't feel ready or capable or worthy or whatever. Explore it, see where it takes you. It doesn't, no harm done. So definitely investigate that. But I definitely feel like it's something around finances, something physical. So resources, working with other people, collaboration, a job, something like that. And it's going to be something that inspires you. So if it doesn't inspire you, then I would say it's not really worth your energy to pursue it, unless you absolutely have to. Well, let me change that. Unless you feel like you absolutely have to. Okay. End of the month, definitely seeing something around home life coming in. So some kind of beautiful offer. The first thing that comes to mind here is like pregnancy or somebody getting pregnant or having a baby. Definitely something around like celebration, around the home life, around family, cause for people to come together to celebrate. So again, I just immediately just got this energy of like children. And so there's something here for some of you around that as well. It could be like celebrating something with your children, around something with your children. Maybe your children are graduating or something like that. But I just see like this energy of like this opportunity to get together with loved ones and celebrate in a beautiful way. For some of you, it could be that there's something you're building upon that's giving you emotional fulfillment when it comes to the home life. So it could be building a new home, building a business that affects your home, something like that. But getting married, some of you may actually be getting married or something like that. Now, it could also be a divorce as well, because remember, we are in the 11-2 energy in May collectively, which can also signify some kind of settlement of some sort. So what I'm seeing here is this energy that around celebration, around the home. So if it is a divorce settlement, then it's something that's going to bring you joy. Like it's one of those things where you can move on now. Maybe it was a difficult experience, and now you're able to celebrate the ending of that and move on. So that can be very beautiful as well. But it is a very positive energy at the end of the month. And again, cause for celebration for for whatever this is. So really incredibly powerful, beautiful energies mid-month and the end of the month. Beginning of the month, I just think there's going to potentially be some things highlighted for you. If you are clinging to anything, it's going to come in to show you what it is that you're overly clinging to, and it's going to be up to you to figure out how to start to release whatever that is. And then remember, if it's meant to stay, it's going to stay. So, and if it's not, then good riddance, like let it go. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, 11s. I hope it's a beautiful May for you all. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.